The 2000s and 2010s were a glorious time for sci-fi experimentation. Networks tried everything, including releasing ambitious pilots as full-on TV movies when the series didn't make it past the pilot stage. Some of these projects were messy or wonderfully weird, while others were genuinely great ideas trapped in development limbo, repackaged as movies just so the work wouldn't be wasted. So in this video, we're diving into the sci-fi movies that were never actually meant to be movies, the ones that started as TV pilots but never got the chance to become full shows. And to keep things tidy, we're going from oldest to newest. Ice Planet. Ice Planet was supposed to be the next big space saga. Instead, it became a fascinating sci-fi oddity. Set in a distant future, it followed a group of military cadets and scientists who find themselves stranded on a mysterious, frozen world after their research station is attacked. The planet turns out to be more than it seems, possibly a living entity with cosmic secrets of its own. The pilot had ambition, blending military drama, survival story, and high-concept alien mystery, but low-budget CGI and uneven pacing kept it from taking off. Still, it had potential and might have worked as a show with a few tweaks and a little more budget. Babylon 5: The Legend of the Rangers. Set after Babylon 5, this TV movie was meant to launch a new series about the Rangers, the elite fighting force formed to defend the galaxy against the Shadows. The concept was great: new ship, new crew, familiar universe. Unfortunately, it aired opposite an NFL playoff game, which pretty much doomed it before it began. And while die-hard fans appreciated the lore and world building, casual viewers found the effects a bit dated and the story slow to start. Still, there were flashes of what could have been. It's not perfect, but for fans of Babylon 5, it's a bittersweet reminder of a franchise that deserved a longer post-war legacy. Thoughtcrimes. Imagine discovering you're telepathic and then immediately being recruited by the government. That's Thoughtcrimes in a nutshell. The film followed Freya McAllister, a woman institutionalized for years before realizing the voices in her head were actually other people's thoughts. Once recruited by a secret agency, she learns to use her powers to track down an elusive assassin known as Ghazal. It was meant to launch a USA Network series, and honestly, it had promise. Navi Rawat sold the psychic action hero angle, but the show never materialized. Still, it's a fun, stylish time capsule of early 2000s sci-fi TV, complete with government conspiracies and dramatic slow-motion walks. Riverworld. Based on Philip Jose Farmer's epic novels, Riverworld had a killer premise. Dozens of people from different lands and eras mysteriously resurrected along the banks of an endless river on an alien planet. The 2003 Sci-Fi Channel pilot followed a group of people trying to understand why they're there and who's behind it all. It was ambitious, blending philosophy, action, and high-concept mystery, but it also bit off a little more than it could chew. In 2010, Sci-Fi rebooted it again with a new cast, but neither version quite captured the novel's strange existential energy. Still, it remains one of Sci-Fi TV's most fascinating almosts. Phenomenon 2. Remember the John Travolta Phenomenon film from the 90s? Well, in 2003, it was rebooted for television. Phenomenon 2 retold the story of an ordinary man who suddenly gains genius-level intelligence and telekinetic powers after being struck by a mysterious flash of light. This time, the role went to Christopher Shire, and the movie served as a backdoor pilot for a potential series that never came to be. It leaned heavily into the miracle of human potential theme, but without Travolta's charisma or the big screen spark, it didn't quite click. Still, it's a charming relic from that brief era when every network wanted their own feel-good sci-fi. Virtuality. Virtuality took the idea of escaping reality through technology and pushed it into full-on psychological sci-fi territory. It followed the crew of Earth's first starship using virtual reality simulators to endure a decades-long mission to find a new planet for humanity to inhabit. But the simulations start glitching and things get seriously twisted. Part psychological thriller, part sci-fi mystery, Virtuality was smart, dark, and full of potential. Fox, however, aired it once as a TV movie and never looked back. It's a real what could have been moment, a show that predicted our obsession with VR and blurred realities years before it was mainstream. 3 Inches. In the era of TV superheroes, Sci-Fi took another crack at the reluctant superhero angle with 3 Inches. The pilot-turned-movie followed Walter, a guy struck by lightning who develops a superpower that's kind of lame. He He can move objects with his mind, but only 3 inches at a time. Soon, he's recruited by a team of equally off-brand superheroes. It was clearly aiming for a fun, self-aware tone, and it actually worked. But despite solid humor and potential for great ensemble chaos, the show never got picked up. Still, 3 inches is a reminder that not every superhero needs to go big to save the world. Battlestar Galactica: Blood and Chrome. Blood and Chrome was meant to be the next hit in the Battlestar Galactica franchise, a prequel focused on a young William Adama during the First Cylon War. Visually, it was stunning. Gritty dogfights, digital sets, and the same morally gray tone that made BSG a fan favorite. But Sci-Fi got cold feet. Instead of launching a full series, they first chopped it into webisodes and then released it as a TV movie. Fans loved seeing the early days of the Cylon conflict, and it hinted at a rich backstory for Commander Adama that never got told. It's one of those rare cases where the pilot was too good to stay shelved, but not enough to reignite the franchise. Borealis. Also known as Survival Code, this Canadian sci-fi thriller was meant to set up a near-future world where climate change has turned the Canadian Arctic into a geopolitical gold mine. The story followed a small frontier town at the edge of the world, where governments, corporations, and mercenaries all fight for control. It had espionage, environmental themes, and wonderfully gritty world building. But despite strong critical buzz, it never went to series. Instead, it aired as a TV movie and went on to win 3 Canadian Screen Awards. Still, it was a gem, part survival drama, part geopolitical thriller, and a chilling glimpse of a future that feels way too plausible. Rewind. Rewind is one of those sci-fi pilots that goes big right out of the gate, starting with a nuclear blast that wipes out New York City. But here's the twist: the attack was actually a message. Physicist Benjamin Rourke orchestrated the catastrophe to force the government to use its secret time travel program to stop the attack and to prevent his wife's death in the process. So a mismatched team is sent back in time to prevent both tragedies before the timeline unravels. The result was sleek, fast-paced, and packed with clever sci-fi turns. But NBC passed, leaving Rewind stuck in temporal limbo. It's the kind of high-concept pilot that absolutely deserved a full season. Parallels. Parallels had one of the coolest setups of any sci-fi show, and it still hurts that it didn't get a full show. The film followed a group of strangers who stumble upon a mysterious building that jumps between random parallel Earths every 36 hours. Each version of Earth is wildly different, some advanced, some destroyed, some unrecognizable. It was basically Sliders for a new generation, with sharper writing, higher stakes, and endless storytelling potential. Fans loved it, and it even spawned an unofficial cult following online begging for a series order. Sadly, the follow-up never materialized, but Parallels remains one of the best feature-length pilots that could have launched a whole multiverse of possibilities. Did we miss a sci-fi pilot turned movie that deserves a shout-out? Drop it in the comments. Swing by tvshowpilot.com for even more TV goodness, and don't forget to subscribe to the TV Show Pilot YouTube channel for more videos that celebrate the weird, wonderful world of television.